Welcome to My Safe Word is More with your hosts from Survivor and Amazing Race, Corinne Kaplan, stand-up comedian Al Jackson, and our very special guest, also from Survivor and Amazing Race, New York attorney Eliza Orlins. I'm Chris, your producer. This is My Safe Word is More.
Yay!
Yay! It's also my safe word needs more mics. So today, as Chris mentioned, we are joined by my best friend, my amazing race partner, and one of my favorite humans on the planet. And so we're gonna give Eliza the full experience. Like she's gonna.
Sounded like a threat.
Yeah.
You ready for the full?
We're all
Chris just
gonna-
gets up and locks the door.
We're all gonna fuck her.
This is pay-per-view, guys. Find us on our OnlyFans. Sex work is work.
Yes, exactly.
That's right. No, so we're gonna go through a bunch of things with her today. First, we'll talk a little bit about our history because there are probably people listening that don't know much about Survivor or Race because clearly this show ain't about either of those things. But then we're gonna get to the stuff that you guys love. We're gonna do some Go Nakeds with her. We've got a listener Gmail. She has written her own Yelp review.
Yes.
Yeah. So we've got like a whole like full experience.
I'm so
A
excited.
swim experience.
This is gonna be great. But like, please, I want us to talk to the people that are like me that have don't know the exact and full background from you guys. So like, you guys were both on Survivor, but at different times. Talk to me.
Yes.
Yep.
So she was on her first season first.
Yep.
Which
What
was
year?
season?
So I was on seasons 9 and 16, which were 2004, and then aired in 2008. And then Corinne was on her seasons.
Mine was
back-to-back.
17 and then 26.
And we first met because one of my friends from law school was on Corinne's
That's
season.
right.
And they were best friends on the show. And so I
And-
came. Did you come to New York for the premiere?
Yes. I
Yeah.
came. Yep.
And so we met immediately
And
after my second
It
season.
should be noted that our mutual friend is a very hot gay man. So that really,
Yeah.
I wasn't like, I had this bubbly blonde girl that I was really close. No, it was the gay guy on the show.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, and so we met, and I was very entrenched in the Survivor community, like in the beginning, because like I lived in LA. If you're in LA or New York and you're on Survivor, you have the opportunity to spend. You can watch the parties with the incoming cast. Like you can really like be in this scene, which is very interesting at first, and then I find it depressing. So
Hey, watch it. But also, Corinne had just moved away from New York, so when she was
Yes.
back in New York, she still like knew
My boyfriend lived
everyone
there, yeah.
and was going out. And I was in my going out era, like I
Mm-hmm.
was in my mid-20s. I mean, this was 15 years ago
Yeah.
that we're talking about,
Yeah.
and so we were just having the time of our lives. And we totally hit it off. And like when I went to LA, I stayed with her.
Yeah. All true.
and-
I do want to ask because Corinne, I kind of know why you went on Survivor. What motivated you? Because I saw that, I was like, that show's not for me ever. But
Oh,
like,
yeah.
when you saw that, like, what was it? What led you to Survivor?
Well, as opposed to Corinne, who never filmed an audition video or anything
I did it
like
for
that.
revenge. My ex was on it and won, and I was like, I'll fucking do it. I'll fucking do it.
So I was complete opposite, like absolute fangirl. From the moment I saw episode 1 of season 1 of the show, I turned to my mom because I watched just like 20 million other Americans, the first season of Survivor. And I said to my mom, I'm going to be on that show one day. And she goes, of course you are, sweetheart. You can do anything. And now she says, be careful what you tell your kids because they believe you.
Yeah.
Right.
And so as soon as I turned 21, actually before that, I was manifesting before it was cool. Do you remember AOL Instant Messenger?
Yes.
In my AIM bio, I wrote future Survivor 9 contestant. I calculated that's the first season I'd be eligible to apply for after I turned 21. And I just had my sight set on getting cast, filmed my audition video on the front porch of my sorority house at Syracuse University.
Shout out.
And then I got cast the first time I applied. So I knew I was going to be on that show.
What did you do to make sure, like, what was in your audition video? you
Oh
think-
God, everyone wants to know that.
Yes.
It's the number one thing we get asked.
I did an impression, which I will not do. And then I just talked about myself, just said, I speak Chinese, I've run a marathon, I'm applying to law school, all these things about myself. And I was like, plus I'm the biggest Survivor fan ever. And here's why you have to cast me. And Jeff said that they knew within the first 30 seconds of seeing my video that they had to have me on the show.
Wow.
Aw,
I
The
know.
rest is history.
I know.
Did
Well,
you do any impressions on your
No,
audition tape?
I didn't. No, I had to do my audition tape after I was cast as a formality because they were going to run. They used to do this, which I thought was adorable, where like over Thanksgiving, instead of running a new episode, they'd run like this recap episode that had everyone's audition videos in it. And they knew they wanted to do that for my season. So they were like, yes, you're on the show, but you have to make a video now. And I was like, oh, come on. And so like I had Vanessa, now Lachey, but at the time she was Manilo. I had her come, I had her show up at my cousin's house. They had a pool. And I was like, okay, can you just like, you know, hold the camera. I think back then it was like it was an actual video camera.
Oh yeah,
like,
I sent my audition video in
like
on a VHS tape in the mail to Los Angeles.
I think at my point it was we were able to
My kids
like,
wouldn't know what you guys were talking about. They're like, you put what in the what?
But mine, I had Vanessa directing it and like telling me what to do. And she's like, okay, we're going to put you in a bathing suit and you're going to move towards the camera because it's more interesting when someone's walking than just standing there. She goes, then I want you to loop around so we can see your ass. And so she's directing this video. The only thing I cared about was looking good in it because I knew it's going to air on national. This is not a video that's just going to casting. I know they're asking for this because they need it for this episode. That I hadn't even gone on the show yet. And in the end, I jump into the pool, but it was like the middle of winter in LA and the pool was covered, there was leaves everywhere. It was like not a well-managed pool at all. It was my cousin's house pool, I don't know. And I was like, at the end, once I jump in, I'm like, like I start like freaking out.
You look like you're ready to be in the wild by yourself.
Vanessa was like, you keep that in. Yeah, exactly. You don't look very confident around water.
And they were like, wait, maybe you're not cast after all, after she sent it in.
Yeah.
Well, do you guys both still watch the show? Because I don't know if that would make me crazy or make me want to watch it.
I absolutely fucking cannot stand watching even I'll be at the gym and they'll run a promo commercial for it. And I'm like, I can't watch.
That's how I feel about Race.
You see,
I can't watch The Amazing Race, like even the music, and I'm like, nah. The only reason I would ever go back on that show is if it was the only way Corinne could go back on that show. I hate everything about The Amazing Race. Don't air that part. You know? But no. I still watch Survivor. I've never missed an episode.
Isn't that crazy?
I've watched it for 47 seasons, but I was a fan before, and she wasn't. So like it tracks, right?
Right. I guess it does, but I'm wondering. What's the juxtapose with Race as opposed like you are still kind of down with Race?
I don't watch Race. I don't watch any reality TV, but I don't have negative feelings towards it. I think it would bother me to watch Race, but not like it bothers me to watch Survivor. I have like deep-seated hatred about a bunch of things Survivor related and just like
that's how I feel about Amazing Race.
Yeah.
I feel like we were so screwed by it and it like makes me really angry.
Well, let's
bitter.
get into this show flows. We're like Ghostbusters 2. It's all deep-seated hatred underneath the ground.
Deep-seated hatred.
Talk to us
fueled
about like,
by rage.
Yeah.
Where does that come from?
Anger? Anger?
I mean, like
getting screwed. Yeah.
Was it in front of the camera stuff or behind the camera stuff?
Oh,
behind.
Well, for me, both. Like I definitely like I didn't feel like I didn't like yes we didn't like the Afghanimals or other teams we raced against. However, I didn't like hate like I don't care. That's remember we were talking 2 episodes ago about like this like list of people that I would like kill if like murder was legal.
Yes.
Okay. Well, there are people from Survivor definitely on that list, and there's nobody from Race on it. You know.
No.
There's people from like. Yeah.
No. It's more about just I think for me, it's like I'm so unbelievably competitive. And, you know, I've been to 73 countries. I've like done all these things. Like I was like taking stick shift driving lessons in the middle of Manhattan. Like we prepared for Race in this way as though we really were going to have a shot to win this thing.
Right.
And we should have we should have been very good at it, except it was set up for us to fail.
It was
genuinely, they didn't want us on. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I don't know if your listeners would find some of this interesting, but so I can give the TLDR. But like basically, this was right after the Viacom merger, and CBS had a new head of unscripted, and they were looking at the numbers and they were like, wow, Survivor and Big Brother, huge fan bases, great shows. Mm-hmm. Pulling in ratings, Amazing Race, barely cracking 1 million fans a week. Like viewership is down. This show costs a ton to make. Like, why is this show still on? We should either pull the plug on this show or just do an entire cast of Survivor and Big Brother players. So they go to Bertram, the executive producer of Race, and say, okay, we're going to do a season of Survivor and Big Brother players to try to get viewers to your show. We could do an all-star season of Amazing Race. And they're like, no. And so they came to a compromise where it was half Amazing Race teams and then a couple Big Brother teams and a couple Survivor teams.
You have to understand
but we were screwed from day one.
Oh,
Yes, but you have to
okay.
understand. Just
So much like drama. This is what I like.
Sorry, I'm like
Yeah,
still
no,
mad about
I know.
it.
Well,
It's been years and I'm still mad about
We'll
it.
articulate a little bit more of that in a second, but I want to point out that like if you did a season of just previous Amazing Racers, nobody would watch because nobody watched their first season.
That was the problem.
Amazing Races. Yeah, he really shouldn't have had any Amazing Racers on there. And after this break, I will explain what the difference is when you're racing for a second time versus a first.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you go on Amazing Race the first time, you know, just like if you go on Survivor the first time, it's very daunting, it's very challenging, and it's a lot of this unknown. Now, there's a lot of secrets that can help you be better at either of the shows that you would only know if you were on it. Even though, like she's saying, we are really well traveled. We took every single challenge and we said to each other, when we open the clue, if we can tell it's driving, if we can tell it's heights, if it's endurance, who's doing it? Me or you, me or you, me. We decided in advance every single, even stupid
So what
things
was the
like
breakdown? So who's doing endurance? Who's doing driving?
she's driving, I'm endurance, I'm heights.
She's heights, I'm puzzles.
I'm
She's
dance.
dance.
Yeah. I mean, we really thought of
I'm
everything.
swimming.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
So like, you know, that, all that.
Yeah.
So, but it's like, the way that I put it to people is I'm like, this is like putting in a junior varsity high school football team against the, you know, Kansas City Chiefs and being like, go get him, Tiger.
Yeah.
You got a shot. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Go play. And like acting as though the JV team had a
Has a
real shot
chance.
against
So-
an almost three-peat, you know, Super Bowl champion
Right.
team. It was like these teams who had raced twice before.
Sometimes
Some
three
of them are
times. Yeah.
third-time racers
Like-
who knew all the ins and outs of like which rules you could break, what things you, because they're like, oh, if we break rules on pit stops, how are they going to punish us? Because it won't make sense to air a punishment when the rules were broken during a pit stop. Corinne and I, meanwhile, following all the rules,
Yeah.
little
Well,
rule follower
Yeah.
There's
idiots
also,
over here.
Yeah, there's also little things like, you know, when you're going to exchange your money, there's a fee for that. And you have very little money, right? Like our leg money is limited. And so if you knew better, you would partner with other teams. So you change the money together and you share the you know, the
Because
burden
you only pay
of
the fee once.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Or like when you get into a cab, you need to make sure that cab is on full and not, you know, so that, because we were in a cab that had to stop. Well, he stopped for a smoke break, but like they'll stop for gas. And like you're like,
Right.
well, there goes my race. Yeah. So you don't know, there's all these things that you would only know if you raced before. And so we just kept getting caught up and it was so
Also,
frustrating.
they would never have cut us a break. Whereas like
No.
other teams, they'd get into a cab and they're like, no, you can't get into that cab. They didn't want any of the non-racers to be in the show.
Did you guys get cut first?
No, we almost did. We came in second to last, the first one.
Third to last.
Oh, third.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You're right. I forgot.
That's a
And we
lawyer-
were
that-
so
that's a
excited.
lawyer- that's
we
a
were
lawyer
so
reframing.
excited about third to last. We were like jumping up and down and hugging. It's a very funny moment.
Yeah,
It's cute.
and then we were just
we'll
like-
post it. We'll post it on the My Safe Word Is More Instagram.
Yes,
we'll
and
post that moment.
it'll
We have
be
the
in
clip.
our-
Everyone should
our
go
YouTube,
watch it.
yeah.
It's adorable.
Well, I am getting into reality shows because of my girlfriend. As a comic, I work at night, so I never saw any of these shows. But my girlfriend, super into Traders. I'm a good boyfriend, so I'm watching Traders. Are y'all watching Traders? Because if not, we should be talking about it.
I love that show. Oh my God.
So I don't watch it, but I as I said, 2 episodes ago, like I would absolutely anybody. Literally, there's not anyone that would say no to Traders.
Oh my
right?
God, I would kill to be on Traders.
it's
Well,
also
maybe not
like-
kill, but it is to die for. It's so much
It's
fun.
entertaining.
It's
entertaining.
It is hilarious. It's so campy. It's just everything about it is amazing.
Well, we have a lot of friends that have done the show that are currently on the show. And so we have a thread with, you know, Britt and Janelle raced against us on Amazing Race. We love them. We spent a lot of time with them. And so Brittany's on this season.
Yeah.
And so we, you know, I'm useless on this text thread because Eliza will ask questions and, you know, she's wants answers because she's watching.
Well, now Brittany and I are texting off thread because you and Janelle
Yeah.
don't respond.
Well, you could watch the show.
Yeah, you could
I
watch the
know.
show. Be supportive of Brittany.
I know.
You should watch.
I don't want to download. It's a different thing.
It's Peacock.
It's Peacock.
I
What do
don't
you mean a
know. I
different
don't know where
thing?
that is.
I'll download it on your TV tonight.
Okay.
Is-
If it was there, I would
Is
watch
that what
it.
is stopping you from watching Traders?
Yeah.
The app?
I don't want another app. Yeah. Get your shit on Netflix or Hulu. That's what I entertain.
Hey, this is
why
Peacock. We want to put this on Netflix.
Yeah.
I know it sounds weird. Please take our call. This is not
I
a
mean,
crank call.
It's why I watch 60 Days In, which is my first passion of
But that's
a show.
A&E.
But I can see it. It's on one of my streaming services. So I don't have to do anything. It's just there. My 600-pound life, also there. So one of the interesting things about being on reality TV is that no matter how many years no, that's not true. If you are a good standout bitch, then it doesn't matter how many years have passed, you will still get hate mail.
Oh, yeah.
And I got one yesterday. I screenshot it. And I thought I would read it to our listeners so they can get an idea of what it's like to be so famous like we are.
I'm going to be really in the mode of a listener here because it's something that I don't know how you guys deal with. I don't know.
Do you not get hate mail?
There used to be a guy that would email me like every 2 years on DBL, and he would just write, "Settle down, you goof."
That's it?
That's it.
Oh my God.
That's like the people who like me send emails like that.
Like
Settle down, you goof.
I don't know what that meant. And it would be after like a nothing show. And he would just like, and I would look up and it'd be like last email correspondent, 2021.
Actually, that was me.
Yeah.
Right.
So like you guys
Okay.
get like scary
So,
hate mail.
I'll give you.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna read the scary stuff.
Yeah, this is literally just the one that I got yesterday at 8:38 p.m. That's it's not special in any way. It's just I thought sometimes. So I wanted to ask Eliza like what, because I kind of know, but I want her to tell the audience like what does she do? Like people decide whether or not they're going to respond, and like how do you handle it? And so this is what this person wrote. Now for context, it looks to be a married guy, white, nice looking ish. I mean, not. He's average at best. He's got like I don't know, his girlfriend or his wife is like a 4. But they're like, American couple. And he writes the following. Him, not her. Him.
Well, they're both in the
They're both,
picture, which
right.
is super weird.
Well, he writes, "You are a horrendous human being, truly ugly inside and out. The confidence that you exuded in Survivor will be studied for centuries for those that are truly delusional. You are the kind of girl at Florida who is picked up at 3 a.m. after all other options are exhausted."
Honey, you put up a very good fight, but you have no idea who you're dealing with.
Now, the fun thing about this is, okay, he did so much research that he knows I went to University of Florida.
That's what scared me.
And also, I just want to say, Andrew, there's a calendar that comes out once a year, the Ladies of Florida. Those are the most popular girls in the entire 40,000 plus school. I was Miss February. I was not the girl you picked last at 3 a.m. Trust me, I was doing calendar signings and endorsement deals when I was in college. So get fucked. But anyways, so it's the idea of like do you go and respond? And if you do, what's your take on it?
So I want to compare and contrast. We just heard yours.
Yeah,
I want to hear what you get.
So these are just a couple of comments that I screenshotted because, I always say, are you my biggest haters or are you my biggest fans?
Yeah.
These people, because what I do on Instagram now is if someone leaves a hateful comment, I restrict them because then if they're going to leave something really vile, I won't approve the comment just so because I want to see it in advance. And I mostly just approve because I think people should see what people are saying and also because it drives engagement.
Right,
so
yeah.
I'm like, these are the first 6 people to comment on every single thing I post. It's unbelievable. I'm like, these are my biggest fans.
Yeah.
Like they are
That's
pushing my content out.
interesting.
So anyhow, this guy goes, put away the crazy eyes, Miss Potato Head. Which, someone else says, please get mental help. You damaged brain in that Survivor challenge. Oh, sick. I don't know. You damaged brain.
Yeah.
I think when you're really mad, you never proofread.
I was
You're
just
like,
thinking
she
that.
knows what I mean. Send.
JD Crazy Eyes seems big mad over the massive leftist grift being exposed. Are you Soros funded, ma'am? You really seem Soros funded. Can we get a financial disclosure, please? Because the scales of justice are leaning very left.
I don't know what Soros means.
How do you not know who George Soros
It's a
is?
person?
George Soros?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's like one of the richest men in the world.
Well,
Anyhow.
Color me interested.
but-
What's his deal?
I think he's like 90. I think he's like 92. But I think that's also.
Perfect.
I think it's pretty rampant anti-Semitism. I didn't read like the ones that are
yeah.
like that Austrian should have had his way with you and your people.
yeah,
I get
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that all the time
Yeah,
too.
the Soros
Which
is the stand-in for anti-Jewish. It's like this is another Soros event.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a way
Is
to.
he Jewish?
George, yes, yeah,
It's not really a Jewish name.
yeah. So I can't believe. So I mean, it seems.
Well-
But I've had thoughts on both of your haters, and it's strangely because I've obviously worked on the television show and thought about like what was Trump's magnetism, and no matter how you feel about him, he makes you feel something, and most people don't. Most people watch things and they're just everybody's nice and polite, and Trump makes you hate or love him, And that's a feeling, and it's hard to get those. And like people love or hate you. And it's that whole thing, like the only thing worse than hate is indifference.
Oh, Corinne says that all the time.
Yeah, and I mean, it really is. If you listen, like those same 6 people cannot wait for you to post because they're thinking about you because you make them feel, whether it's love or hate, I don't even know if it matters.
It doesn't really
I just don't want to
matter.
be forgotten, so I could care less if like the bulk of the people. It's annoying. See, unlike Eliza's point, which is very well taken, because we've even talked to our network producers about that. Like, if there's bad comment, it doesn't matter, it's engagement. But when they're sending me these DMs, it doesn't do shit for me, and I feel like you should be
Right.
exposed. And it's like, what do you do?
Yeah.
And like, I don't feel sorry for any of them. Like, I'll expose whoever, it doesn't matter. But if I am gonna go the extra mile to actually respond, I will go to your profile. I will learn about you. I will find your greatest weakness. I will, like, is your chin too small? Like, I will go through his wife's, did your dog recently pass away? Like, I will fucking go wherever I need to if I'm gonna bother.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do some pussy ass like.
I don't respond to these people. I'm
You don't
not
respond to
responding to anyone in
Sometimes,
DMs.
well, no.
Have you ever gotten one that
I'm
was-
not
No.
responding in-
I'm sorry. I wouldn't really. I would respond via DM, screenshot it, and put it in my story.
Right.
I need
would only
credit.
respond.
Yeah.
I'm not just like private conversing with
Yeah,
this
yeah.
person. And then I always report them for hate speech and try and get them like kicked
I was going to
off,
ask,
but-
have you ever gotten one that was like more scary than,
Oh yeah, plenty
Yeah.
of time.
and like,
yeah.
what's that step look like?
You know, you report it, but
yeah,
like,
I don't
nothing
know. I mean,
happened. Yeah.
like, yeah, I've gotten some like very scary anti-Semitic ones. I think
same.
every like Jewish person that's in the public has some dealings with that, but there's not a whole lot you can do. I mean, you report it. Sometimes they take it down. Sometimes they just take it down briefly, like the account gets suspended and then brought back, which I don't know what good that does.
I know.
Right.
So yeah, I mean,
told you I have a person in my life that I know that's famous, and somebody took a picture of their mom's house and posted it like, I can touch you basically if I want to. And it's just like, clearly the person was there in person. And I mean, it's just really scary. That's why I'm always like, it's kind of funny. I used to correct people's grammar when they would come at me, but I was always scared to take it there. Like, your wife is ugly or something. Because people, I feel like mental health is teetering if it's not already going.
I'll push you over then.
There we go.
I don't have a problem with that.
All right.
I notoriously, the person that I disliked on my second season of Survivor, went into every interview and didn't refer to him as his first name. I referred to him as a living miscarriage. And it's one of my favorite, like, dumb, stupid little things I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a problem. And he's definitely not mentally okay. Anyways, we're going to cut to break. When we come back, we're going to do more, like, swimmer-ish stuff with her. So stay tuned. Okay, so it's time for the Go Naked segment.
How are you already laughing? You haven't
I'm so entrenched in this fucking Facebook group that I have a friend that is having massive surgery and she's going to be bedridden for a month. And I spent the entire time she was visiting me, like teasing her with Go Naked stories to get her to follow the group. So because we have Eliza here and Eliza is a lawyer, I thought she could weigh in on this. This person wrote in and said, wondering if anyone knows if I can get an attorney for a bad circumcision. Long story short, they took way too much skin and caused him to have 3 different issues and surgery to correct all these things. I wouldn't ask, but it was so bad, my heart breaks for him. He is under a year old.
Yikes.
Oh, so it's not even fully grown.
Oh no.
Okay, so yeah, I don't even think I need Eliza. Yeah, you can get a lawyer for this.
Yeah, that's like sounds like straight up medical
I
malpractice.
think
I don't.
this is reasonable to assume you could.
Also, by the way, like there were these protests during the Super Bowl. There are all these people. My friend was posting it on his story.
Really?
That said like circumcision is genital mutilation.
Well, in this case.
and they were like, you know, there are all these like anti-circumcision protests.
What? Who? Okay.
Yeah.
Like, how do you get people to leave their house? I'm like, it's cold out, and it's like, we're going to be...
No, it was New Orleans. It was like 75 degrees.
No,
well, that's
but-
even worse. You should be
But
drunk
also,
and high.
New Orleans, nobody has insurance. Like the healthcare is garbage there. I mean, my brother's a doctor in Louisiana. His healthcare is good, but like it's
Even more reason they shouldn't be getting circumcisions, apparently.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, interesting that's the cause they take up. They've got way worse problems over there than circumcisions.
So I'm curious, as a lawyer, how do you prove like
His dick was bigger?
Like lifelong. Like, what can you say? Like, this is going to affect his sexual function, and like he should get this amount for like future things in the future. How
I
do you
mean,
go-
listen, I'm a criminal lawyer, not a torts lawyer,
Yeah.
but you know, a lot of those things they say that, for example, like for truckers who are like long distance truckers who drive back and forth across America, they say that they're trained that they should aim. If they're going to get in a crash, that they should just aim to kill rather than maim, because you get paid out worse for being maimed than if you pay one lump sum payment. If someone gets killed, they value your life and they give it to you. But if you're maimed, and so like if something is going to be horrible for the rest of your life, you actually may end up paying worse penalties. So this sounds like
That's so
Can you
dark.
imagine like getting to that part in the trucking lesson? Like you
Yeah.
guys like last class guys, and then he just walks over and shuts the door and have everybody's phones in this basket.
That's so interesting.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. Sorry, I don't.
No, I was.
Corinne likes
that's the
dark.
shit I like.
I'm like, I knew it's okay for her.
That's
Yeah.
what it is with insurance and money.
never
They
getting
don't see
invited
the
back.
person. No, that's. I think people should be taught like this. This is how these companies are talking about you.
Yeah.
It's not the commercial you see like State Farm for you. It's just like, yo, if you see her, you gotta kill her, bro. Because if she's just in a wheelchair, we're fucked.
Yeah.
Like you need. Like I want to know how they really talk about us. Like that's good to know for the consumer.
Well, I feel like this person, at the very least, should give a bad review on health grades for this physician so other people can beware.
Yeah.
So speaking of reviews, I want to hear yours.
Oh yeah.
So,
okay.
Eliza, give them background. She wrote this
So
review.
I
She was
wrote
inspired
this.
by you.
I wrote this.
That means so much to me.
I'm not kidding. This is you. So you don't understand. I am not a podcast person. I know that seems weird because I'm a person who is very into talking and learning and all these things. The only podcast that I am loyal to, the only podcast I listen to, and I'm not. You can look on my phone. I'm not exaggerating or being
You
facetious.
sound like a dude that just came home at 3 a.m. Look at my look. I swear to
Is
God.
my safe word is more.
Yes.
The only podcast I listen to. And so I talked to Corinne about this. I was like, so are you guys like, can I call in? Can I like call in to read you guys this review? I wrote this review in March 2023. I'm not kidding.
I know.
It wasn't March of last year. Literally, it was March of the year before. Because I wanted to, and Corinne was like, we don't have anything set up. Like, I don't think it's going to sound good if I put it on speakerphone on my phone. This was like early on in your podcasting journey. And so I have been saving this review for
been
so
marinating.
long.
Yes.
And by the way, this is posted. So if you look on TripAdvisor or like if you look up this place, you will see this review on there. It is on the internet. It is
Legit.
live on the internet.
Okay.
Okay. Should I preface it with anything or just read it? Just go right into it. Tell you where
Just
it
give
is.
us like a brief synopsis. What is this?
I mean,
a business? A restaurant?
No, it's a hotel.
Oh.
See, I like dogging the business and naming names.
Oh, I'm naming names.
Okay.
It's in
Yeah.
here.
Go ahead.
This is the Luxor Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada. The Luxor Hotel. Luxor.
Stayed there many a time.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you ready? The Luxor is truly abysmal. When I say it's one of the worst places I've ever stayed, I mean it. And I've stayed in roadside hostels across the world.
That's true. We slept like on the floor of that shithole on race.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I went to Las Vegas to attend Taylor Swift's Eras Tour at Allegiant Stadium. We chose to stay at Luxor for its proximity to the stadium. We should have done more research. We had issues throughout our stay. There was a massive leak in our hallway, which led to a marble floor being wet, slippery, and dangerous. Someone had covered the puddle with a pile of towels and a noisy machine trying to dry it out or remove moisture from the air. However, it smelled overwhelmingly of mold and mildew. At least it overpowered the stench of cigarette smoke, I
Yes.
suppose.
Yeah.
I love how well written this is.
Yeah.
That's what's the
That's
mark
what I
of-
think about with the
Yeah.
Luxor cigarette smoke. Yes.
Well, the mold and mildew
Ugh.
was overpowering. The staff was unhelpful, the lines were so long, and the auto check-in machines didn't work.
No, they never
Our
do.
keys kept getting deactivated, so we'd have to make the half-mile trek from our tower to the front
fuck.
desk, only to wait in a line to get a new key, which still only worked about 50% of the time.
Oh my God, brutal.
We tried to call down to the front desk, but the phone just rang, and when someone picked up, we were finally placed on an interminable hold. Don't make the same mistake I did. Do not stay here unless the only other option is sleeping on the side of the strip outside in a gutter. I'll certainly never make this mistake again.
Yes,
That
that was
is-
a great. Let's give her. Give it up.
I
That was
love
really
it
good.
that it took me right there.
Yes, me
because
too.
that walk from your room when you realize your room key, just the hallway is a 3-minute walk.
Oh, yeah.
And then to get to that line and people are checking in
And
and
you have to
checking
wait
out.
for the elevators too, which are slow.
It is. That's like a 20-minute round trip.
But the thing is, in a normal situation, so I am easily annoyed by things like that. Like I get real snippy when the key doesn't work. Now that's in a normal hotel, like when I'm at my Marriott in Salt Lake. Now, when you think about Vegas, the side, like you got to go through a fucking casino to get to the front desk, and I mean, it's so much worse. And then to get there and realize that you can't even, it's just not even an easy fix. There's the horde of people.
Yep.
I fucking hate Vegas.
And then when you get in the room, it
I hate
sucks
it
in there.
so much.
Yeah, this
I
is
really
so
hate
bad.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
I
don't
feel
say
like
it the
we are
Luxor.
definitely in the minority with the hating of Vegas. Like I don't like it either. It's too much. Stinks. Cigarette smoke. But I'm glad to be amongst family.
All right. Sorry, it's gonna take me a second. Okay. So I have a Gmail that this is near and dear to my heart because of what he titled it.
Wait, you have an email?
Gmail. What did I say?
No, you said Gmail, but you have an email.
Is that not the same thing?
Yeah, but no one says I have a Gmail.
This is my first time using Gmail. You know,
I've never heard anybody say.
I'm an AOL
Go
person.
check your Gmail.
You
Like,
still have
what?
your AOL email.
I do. And it only sends. That's why it's so annoying when I'm in charge of things when we're doing stuff with the network. I'm like, well, I have to check that it's sent and it's not in my sent folder. Did it send? And then I have to reach out to Chris and be like, did you see the email I sent? Because it only sends it about 50% of the time, and 50% of the time I don't know where
you
it
just
goes.
get a personal Gmail?
No, I'm not going to do it.
What?
No. AOL
seems-
forever.
Take a stand.
Yes. Okay. So, this person sent a Gmail and he titled it, and this title sent chills up my spine because I was like, I can't believe this person like thought to do this. I told a story before we were ever on the network, probably a year ago. My ex, who you know, doctor in New York, he was visiting me in LA and we were hammered, and I glimpsed at his phone and I saw he wrote "Good night, Angel." And I was standing next to him. And I was like, what the fuck? I ended up kicking him out of my house. He doesn't have anything. He has to get a hotel. Like, it was like,
You assaulted
And he
him.
never owned up to it being
never.
He just
Never.
deny,
He-
which
to-
is good if you are being charged with a crime. Don't ever talk to the cops.
Never talk
They're
to
not
the
your
cops.
fucking friends.
he literally
Don't talk to the cops.
just like maybe 2 weeks ago was like, let's take a trip somewhere. And I was like, we want to talk about Good Night Angel? And he's like, Corinne, I don't know how many times I have to tell you. And I'm like, yeah, I don't buy it. So this person titled the email "Good Night Angel," and I immediately knew what the context of, and I was like, wow, what a real listener. Okay, so he says, I've recently been going through a very messy breakup, and I was listening to some old episodes of the show when I realized that my situation was very similar to one that Corinne had been in. My ex and I had gotten into a massive fight over communication issues that stemmed from the fact that she didn't tell me that her mother had recently been diagnosed with cancer and was low-key using me to cope with it. The next day, one of her friends that I knew she did not talk to often, meaning like 2 to 3 times a year, started hitting on me via text out of the blue. Nothing came sexually of it at all. It just felt nice to talk to a woman who wasn't crazy pissed with me. The story takes a turn, though, when I found out a month later that she was told by that friend that the conversation happened and told everybody she knew that I cheated on her. Our friend groups have massive overlap. About 1 in 3 people actually believe it, but it is still a massive ding to my already not perfect reputation. I know your motto is always to cheat first, but do you have any advice for somebody to prove that they didn't, or is it better to just not stir things up? I am a huge fan of the show, and it's always a highlight of my week, and I am so happy you found a network to call home. Feel free to call me whatever alias you would like, but please leave me anonymous. So,
We're going to call him Angel.
Of course, I was just going to say that,
Yeah.
obviously.
Angel.
We're linked
So-
together.
Yes. And so we've got Eliza here, and she's going to give you her take on it.
I'm very curious.
What do you think he can do? Should he, lean in and try and fix his reputation, or
Never. I don't know. I think you just shut up. Just let it go. Like the PR advice that I think people give. Because listen, there have been moments where I've stirred shit up online that have led to, a lot of hate mail, even like death threats to my home. And it's like, I want to go online. I want to make it better. I want to explain away.
Yeah.
I'm like, but I can just fix this. I can just fix this with just one more tweet, just explaining what I actually meant by that first tweet.
Yeah.
People won't be mad at me. I'll just explain it. You're never going to make it better. You're not going to make it better. It's just you're going to be like, dig, dig, dig. And so I think like the best thing to do, head down, let it blow over. If you have one-on-one conversations with people and you're like, hey, just so you know, you can be really genuine and sincere and be like, I never cheated on her. I wouldn't have done that, or him or whoever.
I think the problem is that you did do something a little wrong, right? Like, Good Night Angel, that's why he used this as a perfect reference, right? Like, he probably didn't do anything. Like, he's really not that kind of guy. I mean, I say this as I was his actual mistress. He was married at the time, so he is that kind of guy, but you know. But I believe, honestly, that he was entertaining something he shouldn't have been, and he got caught. But I don't think that, like, it was, like, you know, he was in love with me. I don't think that this person really had, like, a shot with him. But I don't know why he was doing that attention, like this guy was explaining, like, exactly that scenario. The problem is, you see, he still did something wrong. Right? He still shouldn't have been having like
A flirtatious conversation with someone else.
If you had actually done nothing wrong, okay, then you take the screenshots and you, like, I have 2 different friends that had major issues. One of my best friends, a friend of ours, fucked her boyfriend and then ordered Plan B. She went through the boyfriend's credit card charges, found the CVS receipt, found the name it was assigned to, and then she sent an email and BCC'd everybody on there and the girl that was involved to everybody in our friend group, 50 people, and was like, here's all the data. Here's the receipt. Here's the flights. She had everything, a full case built.
Wow.
And even with all of that, people still didn't really take her side. They were like, but did she? We're like, here's the Plan B with her name, the whole thing. And she had her own story. I was trying to help. He got a different girl pregnant and I was trying to, you know, or
Who does that?
I mean, but people bought the story this other girl was telling. It's messy. But my point is not dissimilar to yours, that like sometimes you can just make it worse. What I would suggest here is the girl that ratted you out, that you had this little flirty banter with, she deserves wrath. Like, I would very much like do everything I could to ruin her reputation. Like, oh, she was her friend. So that means she was hitting on her friend's boyfriend. She's not innocent here. So if I'm going down with the ship, this bitch is getting sunk with me, you know?
I mean, yeah, but he did say that woman that was flirting with him is a little unstable, and going after her, I think, might be a bad idea. I am in this weird camp where I think we have this life for a long time. And if you're partnered, even if it's super serious, a little side flirt, not for me. I wouldn't do it in this day and age. I would not be texting anything because all I see is screenshots, you know, whether taken out of context or in context. Anytime, that's how low my self-esteem is. If some girl's like, I want to hit that, I'd be like, nope. Like, no, you ain't jamming me up, bruh.
I love when you say that. For everyone listening, it's my favorite when he says jamming, the way that he uses that word. It's so good.
So, like, yeah, so I, you know, but at the same, you know, the Goodnight Angel, like you said, it wasn't an extinction level event for the relationship. And I don't even know. I might be
for Corinne it was.
Well, yes, for Corinne. And I don't know. I might be giving
ended up
advice.
taking him back after that, but
Yeah. So I mean, so you weren't that mad about it, but you just want him to. What could he have copped to that you would have been okay with?
Oh, I mean, I wanted just tell me who it is, you know? And he's like, it's one of my assistants that I work with, and I was like, no, it's not. You don't talk to people at work like that. Like, and he stuck to one story about it being somebody he worked with, and that's how he is very, very kind to, like, he has like the people, like his secretary, she's like 60. I don't think he calls her Angel. Like, it didn't really vibe to me, but he was like, you know, she's going through a hard time, and you know, her son is sick, and you know, I go, it's midnight, dude. Like, we're in LA, so it's 2 a.m. in fucking New York. No, that's not what's happening on a Saturday. No.
Yeah.
But he stuck to that story. But I have told him many times since then, because he has tried to get back together with me so many times. We did not officially break up after that incident. We broke up after another incident, not with cheating or anything. But I have always brought that back. Just admit what you did with a Goodnight Angel, and he will not. Will not.
Is there any part of you that's like, maybe he's telling the truth?
No, none. Zero. Zero.
All right, but can't you have something on ice a little bit? You guys weren't married. Don't we assume
he was already married to somebody else? He had 2 people he was juggling.
Well, then you should assume there's 3 people he's juggling.
Well,
You just wanted the admittance.
I was just like, come on, I'm already kind enough about this scenario. How much leeway do I have to give you? You know?
Yeah. Were you a little pissed off that he had another side? Honestly.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I mean, yes, that was what but I was also like, you don't have enough time to be entertaining other people. And how sloppy of you to text that. Like, it was so important you had to say goodnight while I'm standing next to you. Like, you knew there was a chance you could get caught, you know? And I just, yeah. Anyways, yeah. So what do we have? 2 people say.
I'm Team Eliza on this one. I say just let it
Let it
lay.
go.
But at the same time, I just want to leave this one last caveat. It's like your friend groups overlap and you don't want people to think that, fuck all those people. You have like 3 good friends in your whole life. So everybody else is like, even if you get drunk with them, they're not your friend. Like you said, your friend, you pull them aside, be like, Corinne, we joke around a lot. I would never play you.
Yeah.
And you know that. And that's the thing. That's what I would make sure Chris and I would make sure the people I'm close to know my character. Everybody else, I don't care what you think I did. That's because it's not going to really affect you.
Also, your real friends will stick by you.
Yeah, I know, but like,
That's a good point.
Like, I wouldn't want like
If someone doesn't think, if you don't take my side in something like that, fuck you.
Yeah.
You're not my fucking friend anyhow.
Period.
I know.
Who needs
but-
friends like that?
No, for sure not. But I think it's beyond friends. It's like, okay, well, if my reputation is I'm a cheater, it's not. I don't give a shit. My friends, I'm not fucking. So who cares? But if it's new people I meet, and then they, you know, they that's what they hear about me, especially a dude. Like, if that's why Are We Dating is so incredible, because you're like, oh, like 3 girls will chime in and be like, well, I thought I was the only one. It turns out he was living with his baby mama, you know, and once that stigma is with you, nobody wants to touch you. And I think that's the problem, not the friend part, because most of my friends are like, I think it would be fun if you cheated. You know, I'm the friend that says that. I'm the friend that helps people cheat. I've many times gotten hotel rooms for friends because it can't be on their credit card. Like,
wow.
Oh, yeah.
Did you also set up the camera inside of the teddy bear's eye?
I have done Valentine's Day rooms. Like, I've gotten, yeah.
I do. While we have a lawyer here, I do want to ask, because you brought up, are we the same, dating the same guy?
Oh, she follows all the pages I do.
I've always wondered, because you've actually interacted with a guy whose kind of reputation was unfairly slandered or whatever on there. Do you have any precedent recourse if I'm like, I'm just a regular guy in Denver, and my crazy ex, which could have been, is on there saying that I am sexually essaying people or whatever. Do I have any legal recourse against them or the website for allowing the slander to go on?
I guess in theory you could. The only time it's been tested was, and I think we talked about this.
Yeah.
I was sending you all the stuff. So there was a guy who brought a lawsuit, tried to take down all the pages, and he was mad that someone said he like wasn't humble.
I mean, it was like innocent.
It was the most ridiculous thing that he was upset about.
In his defense, he was one of the Knights of the Round Table.
He brought a lawsuit, and then I started searching. You know, I just decided to put his name in Pacer just to like see.
Tell them what Pacer is.
It's where you can look up all legal cases. Like, you have to kind of log in, but you can look up legal cases. You can pull documents from the cases. Anyhow, it turned out that this man was criminally charged with tax evasion and all this stuff. He had all these other cases going on. He was a very litigious guy, and he was also under indictment himself. So we haven't fully tested whether or not that could actually happen if someone did lie on one of those pages. The thing is, the pages are designed to keep women safe. So women can keep each other safe from people who are not just cheating, but who are dangerous potentially. And so that is the purpose of these pages. And I think that listen, there are certainly crazy people out there who would go on and like make something up about a guy they didn't like, or a guy they did like, to try to keep other people away.
That's my number one thing.
I was about to say, she's sitting to your right.
But I think that for the most part, people recognize that posting something on the internet about another person could land them in a lot of trouble, you know, civilly or whatever.
Yeah.
But the truth is always on your side, because I've reached out to you when I started like briefly foray into TikTok, and I was like making TikToks about these guys that I had dated, and I was like, well, his first name is in there, but his first name's like Al. You know, it's like you know. And I was like, how much?
Were you about to say a generic, forgettable name?
Yeah. I was going to say Chris, and then I just said Al.
Well, I said to Corinne, I said,
if you know, true,
the defamation, like an absolute defense, is truth. So if you're telling the truth, even if the truth hurts someone's reputation, truth is a defense.
Yeah. So that's kind of
I said, you can't make up lies about the person. You don't say anything that can even be considered an exaggeration. If you just lay the facts out, they can't, you know, they can't come after you.
All right. Well, I mean,
This is not legal advice.
I would,
and,
yes.
you
I
know,
would love to
disclaimer.
Yes, I'm so fascinated by that website. So, like, I have so many questions. We'll talk about it. That just means you got to come back on.
I know.
Because I
I'd
want to talk
love
about
to.
that forever.
This has been so much fun. Thank you for letting me come to be on my favorite podcast. How many people get to go on their favorite podcast? I'm the
Oh
luckiest.
my goodness. You are family now,
yeah.
so you have an open golden seat. Corinne's sitting on a Sandy wipe right now, so
Well,
we'll
I
give you
mean-
this nice one. She didn't want to.
I don't like the wicker chair. I don't like the way I don't like the holes. So I
You
need to
and
put a
my
little
girlfriend
pillowcase on it.
hate these chairs.
Okay, I want to get Chris's final thoughts, and since we only have 3 mics, I'm going to swing mine around. Go for it, Chris.
All right, bring it on over here.
Yeah.
First of all, pacer. Good to know that. That's good advice. I like that. Luxor, writing a bad review about the Luxor is like writing a bad review that your Denny's Rudy Tooty was cold. Are you fucking kidding me?
Of course it's horrible. I know, but I was so mad.
Super similar.
Yeah. People are like, I found a dead hooker in my room and they didn't count my room at all.
I was at the Luxor and it sucked. Always defend yourself briefly, concisely, and then move on.
Yeah.
That's the way. It's sort of in the middle. You got to like brief defense and then boom, over defending makes you look guilty. I just want to thank you for being here because it was so great. Please tell our listeners where they can see you.
Oh my gosh, yeah, follow me everywhere. So I have I'm very active on TikTok until April 5th, and when they take it away from us for good.
Is that happening?
I think so. Unfortunately, I know, I'm heartbroken. But I'm Eliza Orlins on TikTok, Orlins on Instagram, at Eliza.Orlins on YouTube. I'm about to launch my Substack, so find me there.
What's your Substack going to cover?
Just me being mad about everything. I'm calling it Objection Everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Eliza Orlins.
Eliza Orlins.
Good night, Angel.
EOOE. Good night, Angel.
Do you want to tell people what your AOL email is?
No.
Well, I will just say this. You are now an honorary forever swimmer. So we're so happy you made it, even though the airline tried to make you late. You're one of us forever. But that's not why people listen to this podcast.
One of us.
People listen to this podcast, Corinne.
To learn why we hated Amazing Race and we really want to be on Traders.
Yes, make it happen. Manifest.